Hello, you guys. Hello, hello, hello. Sorry, it took me a while to get to the gist of this video, but I was typing up a modified intro. So yeah, yeah. So as the caption reads, we are going to talk today about how social media can influence the negative aspects of people, okay? To be publicized. And before we get started, I want to make you guys aware that Life Discussions with Dr. Jefferson is an accountability channel. We talk about all things that are important issues that typically affect the Black, brown, melanated community in America and abroad. We have conversations about a vast array of topics, okay? So, I guess the best way to start this off is probably to do some sharing of personal experiences, so to say. Um, Bullying, right? Let's start there. I think that's a good starting spot. So, bullying takes place when people who have particular insecurities find themselves seated amongst or amidst people who trigger them in a negative way and make them, they kind of force their truths to the surface. Like nobody wants their insecurities to be on Front Street, right? Back in the day, before social media was a thing, we all had experiences with people who were those types of people, who were intentional bullies, unintentional bullies, the ones that are more defensive and happen to be bullies because they're defensive. The people who try to invalidate you because of what they see you do or don't have, and they may not have those things as well. But it's those people that they seek to invalidate you in order to detract attention away from something that they feel insecure about or a thing that they don't have or the support they don't have, whatever it is, right? It exists today, but in a different way. And I always say, like, social media can be a culprit for the most negative and toxic parts of people to come out and be present and fully accepted, Jesus. It's a thing, it's a whole thing. Now, we have heard of workplace harassment, workplace bullies. We've heard of school bullies, schoolhouse bullies. We've heard of family bullies and things like that, but cyberbullying takes all of that to the next level. Sometimes it's family members, sometimes it's going to be people that you knew from school, sometimes it's going to be people that you never met. People have a right, in my opinion, to not like you for whatever reason or reasons, reside within them because we're all individuals. We all have a right to feel how we feel, and we're all valid in our feelings as long as those feelings and the behaviors as a result of those feelings and thoughts don't infringe upon the personal space or personal congruence of another person. So, as long as you're not violating the rights of other people and respecting their opinions and thoughts, I think that we should be able to coexist and not necessarily agree or see eye to eye. Okay. I have some strong opinions. Okay. I'm gonna say that. We're gonna get that out of the way. That's why I said I want to share some personal experiences. Now, I've always been a very opinionated person. Like, even as a girl, young girl coming up, I was always very opinionated and then also very curious, which is what led to the being opinionated. I had a lot of questions about the way the world works, people work, what guides and, provide space for things to be accepted that other people don't really feel comfortable with, like racism and other undue biases. Um, classism, you know, those kinds of things, right? Because within a race of people where everybody looks alike, I want to point this out. I feel like there will always be some level of oppression and some level of segregation. There will always be some level of inferiority and superiority ideals that guide and construct the way that society moves. Okay. I think that that's the way human beings, and really it's not just human beings, it's other classifications of animals as well. But specifically, we're talking about humans. But I think that's the way that we're made. Um, Even religion, spiritual bullying is a thing. Okay. People will shame you for not having the same belief systems that they do. And then as a result of that shaming, it pulls you into the faith or makes you more curious about the faith because this is what you need to do to be aligned, right? And aligned just simply means accepted. So we all, as human beings, are a part of an interconnected web. Okay. And apologizes for my sniffing because I'm going to do a lot of that and my difficulty breathing, because the pollen is pollinating. Okay. I do live in the state of Georgia in the United States, and I have a very severe allergy in response to dogwood trees, and it won't let me be great. It won't. But I love gardening, so I'm out in the garden on a regular and sometimes on a daily in a way that does not support my reality when it comes to me being allergic to outside, basically. Okay. But so getting back to that piece about bullying, bullies will exist everywhere. People will have varying opinions from one another everywhere because we're all different. We're all created differently. Even the people who look like us, who are from the same filial line. We're family, but family does not mean that we're all in the same likeness. Now, we may share some of the same common sense characteristics, or we may not. Not everybody takes the same lessons in the same way. Not everybody is impacted by a message in the same way. One person may have a natural inclination to lean in and respect their elders and the wisdom and insight given to them by those people. And the other person maybe finds ignorance bliss, right? To not know a thing provides some level of comfort for us, I think. Yeah. Because there is civil unrest where we know injustices exist. Think about it. People get out, they start picketing and all sorts of things, okay? But I want to say it was maybe a week ago that I became aware, and this is a story time, you guys, and that I became aware that there was a person in a 50s and up group, which is interesting in and of itself for me, on social media, on Facebook, that there's a person or persons who have a particular issue with me. I don't know them. I'm pretty sure I don't know them. But so I said that to say this. People will be very intentional about the way that they move around you when they are looking to sway the perceptions of others and to move you off your square or to block you from doing particular things, right? Again, that plays into that whole inferiority complex. Now, let's talk about the way that someone like me responds to those types of things. Uh, I hadn't considered it, first of all. I talk to my spouse quite frequently about things that I experience because I think that it's important to get the weigh-ins of those people you find to have valuable insight. And as a woman who has a very, very strong belief system and very strong foundation that guides who and how it is that I move, I'm very intentional, right? So I look to him for for understanding American women. Because sometimes men have a better view of us than we do of ourselves in general. And they've had a lot more experience moving around and in and out of relationships and moving around obstacles when it comes to dating women in America. And Black women in general can be very complex. And I know that's a blanket statement. Some of you might be thinking, but yeah, we can. We can be. So, although I am a psychotherapist and I provide therapy for currently my full caseload of clients is about 137 people personally. You could never know. You could never know because every person functions so differently. And because I've been a therapist for thousands and countless numbers of people previously, right? People encounter different scenarios or different situations in life and they go through them in ways that shape them in their future position, right? Their future perspectives, how they see the world, the way they interact with the world, etc. So I don't ever proclaim to have seen everything, although I've seen a lot, or heard everything, although I've heard a lot about people. So it's always best, in my opinion, to be curious, right? Because curiosity leads to insight, not assumptions. I think assumptions oftentimes have the tendency to make an ass out of us. Now, I'm a person about educated opinions, right? Educated opinions are sometimes us taking in consideration some social trends or realities or our personal experiences that are similar and hypothesizing the why behind them. And that's what I typically do on social media. So when I do accountability conversations, that's what it's grounded around, the research. I look at the crime statistics, I look at the effects of particular behaviors, right? And I look at the current positioning or condition of our society in response to those things. And then I make an educated guess as to what might be causing it, what could be the resolution or a good resolution or whatever. So let's get back to this thing that happened in the group, right? This particular group, I cross post across quite a few groups because I'm in hundreds of groups, literally, on social media and on Facebook. So in this group, I posted a feed that said, one second, because I'm going to get it so I can be spot on and not just be guessing, paraphrasing, and getting it wrong. Let's see here. Sorry, I got distracted. You see how easy it is to get distracted, y'all? But no, I got distracted by a post from Kel. Okay, so let's see here. To be comfortable over the age of 50, right, is what it was about. Let's see. Okay, to says to be comfortable over the age of 50 with never having experienced marriage, right? being married at this phase of life. Now, that's the over the age of 50. Now, it doesn't mean that people over 40 shouldn't be a little concerned because I think they should be. It's an ideal, right? Over the age of 50 and never having experienced married at this phase mean you've condoned your toxic ways that prevent you from being an ideal match for someone, in my opinion. And then I said, what are your thoughts? So obviously I'm asking you about your thoughts about the comfort that people sometimes move into when they are at a certain age. And I put ages because, of course, nobody's a psychotherapist out there. A lot of folks aren't. And I'm in a group with thousands of people who may or may not be in this field. So if I started talking about phase of life difficulties and things that are clinical terms or references that an MFT might make to another MFT, that would be illogical if I'm fishing for the opinions of the masses of people that are looking for layman clues, right? So anyway, that was the post. I cross posted it in several groups. I read it just now from this other one that's Real Talk 40 and older. But it was a 50 older, classy, not a dating site group, I think, that I posted it in, and they declined the post, right? And I guess it's a couple of posts when I look back at the history of it, because Facebook will do this thing. They're notifying you that your posts are being flagged, declined, etc. That was the post. Now, as I'm responding to it being posted in these other groups and things like that, is when I got that notification from Facebook saying that, hey, your post is being flagged for being offensive, et cetera, et cetera. I personally don't see anything offensive with that. Unless, of course, you're the person on the other side that feels bullied by my terminology used, language used. And I did see, even in this group, a lot of people felt really triggered by hearing the word toxic being referenced to, I guess, a person. That's what they heard. The message reads that you're being comfortable at this point with being single and never having experienced marriage at this phase means you've condoned your toxic ways. Not that you as a person is toxic, right? Because here's the thing. People are people, right? People, we do things. That's just us. We're human. Some of the things that we do are going to be based on our traumatic experiences. Some of the things that we do are going to be based on our positive experience, negative experiences in life, et cetera, et cetera. We cannot say for 100% certainty that everything that we do in this life will be right or wrong perceived perceptually by other people, right? We may have very good intentions for a thing, but that thing that we do may make another person feel very uncomfortable and may create suicidal ideation, right? We wouldn't know that unless that person conveyed that message to us. And that's okay if that's the way they thought. Now, the thing is, opinions are opinions, right? We have a right to think and do and feel however we want to. And we also have a right to be heard. We also have a right to seek validation if that's what you're looking for from other people. But you also have a right to be right in your own space. So that's not saying that everybody in life, the message, by the way, it's not saying that everybody in life in general should be married by age 50. Because here's the thing, I think, and I'll read to you guys some of the comments or whatever. I don't know if I can post photos in the comments on YouTube, but huh, huh, I don't know. But so here, right? A comment. For privacy purposes, I won't do a share screen because this is a group, it's a closed group, and some of these people, I'm sure they know their opinions floating through social media. But I'm going to bring it all in full circle. So this person says, so when has being married before 50 been the measurement for being happy or being toxic? And again, the post did not mention anything about a person being one of or these things, one or many of those things. It's about a person not doing the things that require them to look within And that's just taking accountability for where we are, right? So if I'm a woman and I've never been exposed to marriage, and not just in the sake of, I mean, in the context of partnership, right? Intimate partner companionship, but on a broader perspective is how I see the world at a on a level of a broader perspective. So I look at the world like marriage. The term marriage means what? Let me look it up on Google. Okay. I love that. It is a combination or mixture of two or more elements. And it's interesting. Now, this is my first time looking it up. I didn't look it up. That's y'all, it's in y'all dictionary. That's how I articulated it to several of the people who took great offense to this. Because I'm gonna read some of these comments now. I'm telling you, it's something. And the other definition is marriage in reference to wedlock, right? So that's the legal or formally recognized union of two people as partners in a personal relationship, historically in some jurisdictions, specifically a union between man and woman. Now, I have several thoughts about both of those things, right? So for me, when I think about marriage, I think about commitment. I think about the adjoining of two common elements. I think about the spiritual attunement that marriage is when we marry ourselves to a particular faith, right? And it's now we're religious people versus just spiritual people. Even when we marry ourselves to spiritualism, because that says that we understand that there is a higher power, there's an interconnected interweaving of elements here that require some level of commitment, right? So there is that piece. Now, couple of things wrong with her comment, right? Human beings live in a society, and these are people in America. America was built off of the spirituality of Christianity. You don't believe me? Look on your dollar bill. In God we trust. So, in that Bible, that's the foundation of Christianity. And so many other faiths follow the Holy Bible and what's written in there. And then other faiths are still backed upon the same founding principles of humanity and the purpose of us. It says that he who finds a wife finds a good thing. It says that man was created and woman created as his helpmate, right? So it says that man and woman were supposed to go forth to be fruitful and multiply. Now, some of these comments, like I had one young lady that said, something about Adam and Eve, and then they failed. They didn't fail. I don't think the God that we serve does anything unintentionally. I think that everything happens for a reason. We're always right where we're supposed to be, even when we don't think we are. We call these things mistakes. I call it divine destiny. There are no mistakes. And in a law, in a world where we serve a very perfect God, how could there be? The only mistakes or the only missteps or ours, where we make one assumption and then we stumble upon another conclusion. So I think that even with our free will being considered, we're always right where we're supposed to be. And we're supposed to be living out life and learning what that means for us. What is our purpose at this phase, where we are, blah, blah, blah. Those are my thoughts. So this person's comment toward the end says, what statistics are we basing this on? And my response was not what I said, because I was responding to the element of her saying that I thought people were toxic, or saying they were toxic or happy, blah, blah, blah. So then she responds, I know it's not what you said exactly, but what's implied. Your whole post was a statement. and you asked for thoughts. I said, I didn't imply anything. But what I elaborated on here, you took it in a direction that I never thought of, to be honest, and that's fine, but I'm still fishing for relevant contributions as to how it is that complacency blinds us and prevents essential self-work. Now, that's me elaborating and giving more context to what the post is. Now, the young lady replied, can you rephrase so we better understand your point? And even though I just did that, I said, I've already elaborated. And another commenter took it in the exact direction already on the original thread, which another commenter was able to see the girth of my post and said it while other people were complete naysayers. But that's what I say about people can change by way of being on social media, right? Which is the purpose of this post. Now, interestingly enough, right, when this other person came and did what we do as human beings, initially he jumped on the bandwagon. He says, exactly how does it make you, he was saying exactly to her comment, he said, how does it make you toxic for living your life in a way that's healthy and beneficial to you? You become toxic at a certain time if you haven't checked for certain boxes for other people on your timeline. You can't make it make sense. That's what he was saying. So my reply to him was, I said I didn't say it makes a person toxic, but the process of living life exposed to the rest of the world, that's the interconnected web component, right? We all will acquire alliances that will at time increase more counterproductive traits within us, and those are toxic. Because that's the thing, as we have more exposure to other people, right? And we see the way the world is moving, it's the reason why Amish society cuts off access of their culture to the rest of the world, literally. And then only for a small amount of time, a slither of time, allow their kids as they're growing up and coming into the age of maturation to slither out into society and see what's out there and share with them what they've learned and come back and return, or stay out there because they found their true alignment or attunement with that society that's outside. It's that piece. So I said, people are simply people. The typical person doesn't begin to take a look at those things until relationships that they've attempted at in life are um, breaking up to never become what they deem to be in alignment with goals in life. Whether it's the goals of the parents or self, we become so self-consumed that we've lost our purpose. And then we seek to justify it with pseudo confidence of I want to never be married, etc. Half of those same people are single parents because they haven't realized that they have needs and they need work. Okay. The other half are still living check to check, barely making it in their 50s or 60s and have nothing to pass down to their living legacies. I value all of the comments that you guys have added, but they are all defenses in a way based on how it is that you all took the message. It was meant to have people look at marriage, the term, as a representation of us working towards spiritual purpose of alignment in life that leads to working on the things that being partnered with other systems allows us insight into. Our decisions are as a culture, and our dissonance as a culture is sad in reality. So that's true, because I posted this maybe a couple of days ago, right? All of these people allegedly have the perception of marriage isn't for everybody. Just to sum it up, marriage isn't for everybody. I'm not married. I'm happy, blah, blah, blah. And some of the same people come on another post that I posted of a young lady stating that there is no need for her to be a good woman, right? She just uses men up and tosses them to the side. And that's what she does all the time. So the same people are like, oh, you're going to get your karma, you're going to get what's coming to you. So which one is it? Do you think that people should be intentional and grow and inspire, goals and standards and accountability in other people? Or do you think that people should just live their lives in a self-consumed box of pseudo self and act as if they're not connected to the rest of the world and do things that offends other people? Because here's the reality, whether this young lady was living her life in that way or not, social media, the element of social media and people having access to her through social media, and not just social media, but email and all of that stuff, she's giving multiple people access to her. And so as a result of that said access, it boosts her confidence, but it also enables that behavior that's counterproductive to a person trying to live life, have a legacy, continue their life after they're gone, and then leave a positive imprint on the world behind them. So here is my thing. Social media will definitely change people. It'll make people feel either glorified and supported, or to make people feel low and lower than life, and then depressed and then suicidal, because we're still aligning ourselves with social comparison theories constructs. It says that we have a tendency naturally to compare our lives and ourselves to other people, right? In a way that's not necessarily constructive or conducive to living a fulfilling life or a purposeful life. Most of these young people now don't want to live past 30. They don't even see it. And that's the reason, a lack of accountability. But I say that because, like, in the aftermath of that comment, of course, that young man came back and he said, I see exactly what it is that you're talking about. Say what you mean, Queen. The people who took it wrong, or you feel took it wrong, are merely exercising comprehension of the language taught and given to us in this country. Because here is the thing. As I said, I don't have a problem with people taking it whatever way, because I'm always looking for insight in general. And it wasn't a personal comment. I literally cross posted it across, I think, maybe 31 groups. And here's the thing. However, the people who took it take it, it's okay, because it lets me know why it is that we're stuck in a state of being that exacerbates maladaptive behaviors of both men and women when it comes to aligning themselves in culture in a way that says they're committed to greatness and improving the quality of life as Black and brown people. Okay, that's the first piece. The second piece is, why is it that so many people are so willing to divest from things, cultural conditioning and traditions and concepts and teachings of being purpose driven and being here? Religion was taken out of school, and then after religion was taken out of school, it was taken out of construct of humanity. And then we see an increase in violent crime, an increase in other unethical things happening amongst people in society. Most of your doctors are doing some type of substances and things like now. And I talk about it. People don't have any accountability. Everybody wants to smoke weed. Everybody wants to do coke, heroin, whatever, fentanyl, whatever it is you guys are into. You guys got Molly's, ecstasy, you name it, right? And nobody wants any accountability whatsoever when accidental death, that's really a suicide, happens as a result of that. Because we want to cry and say, oh, it was in God's will and these things, blah, blah, blah. But here's the reality. If we don't align ourselves with our true purpose and we live life freely as we want, is it possible that we become a recyclable element? Let me reintroduce you to this life so that maybe you can learn to live in your purpose then. I don't know. I don't know. I just have so many thoughts about that. But I think that social media changes people because it allows them to be whoever they want to be on the screen, but not in reality, right? When you have people who don't like you, when you have people who who love you, when you have people who are indifferent towards you, all of those different circumstances have a tendency to play a different role in how you see yourself because we're all systemically connected. That's the reality. It makes us ask the question, right? What about us? What about me? Does a person find to be misaligned with them and their purpose, or offensive, or whatever, right? It makes you ask yourself those questions. So if we are not to lean towards some level of social inclusion or understanding that we're all interconnected, we don't take the lesson, right? So there are a ton of messages on that thread. For those of you who are part of that group, have at it. But what I'm saying is this. At some point, we have to lean towards accountability in order for us to reshape our ideals in a way that lead to successful outcomes, right? Why not do that? Why why not do that instead of being avoidant? Well, that's all I've got, you guys. I hope that you guys are having a blessed and a productive start to your day. And as your day is winding down, because now it's almost 5, I got to get back in to the dance of doing work. And I will talk to you guys later. Later days. Bye.